Good evening. Welcome to book reading for kids. And today's book is The Nutcracker. It is illustrated by Valeria de Campo. Let's begin. The Nutcracker. It was the Christmas Eve at the Stonebones house, and like children everywhere, Mary and Fritz were so excited that they could feel their toes tingle. Their parents were decorating the Christmas tree before the big holiday party, and Mary and Fritz were not allowed into a great room until it was done. They jostled each other to sneak a peek at the glittering tree through the keyhole. At last, the guests arrived and the doors were thrown open. "Let the party begin!" everyone cried as they joyfully filled the festive room. The children danced and played, and everyone were merry until the lights flickered and the room grew dark. A mysterious man with a young boy entered from the shadows. The man was dressed all in black, with a huge fluttering cape. The children scurried to hide behind their parents just as he paused and flung back his cape over his shoulder. Ah, there was nothing to fear. It was just Herr Drosselmeyer, Mary's beloved godfather. Mary flew into his arms for a hug and shyly met his young nephew. Herr Drosselmeyer was a toy inventor, and a visit from him was always full of surprises. The curious children, their eyes full of wonder, gathered around three huge boxes he had brought with him. Suddenly, the boxes sprang open, and out leaped one life-size doll, then another, and then another. The dolls danced for the delighted crowd. As the celebration continued, Herr Drosselmeyer beckoned to Mary. He had a special gift for her, a nutcracker. The Nutcracker was dressed as a handsome soldier with a white beard. Her Drosselmeyer showed Mary how the Nutcracker could open and snap his mouth to crack nuts for everyone. Crack, crack. Mary was enjoying cracking nuts and passing them out to the children when suddenly jealous Fritz swooped in and snatched the nutcracker from her. He swung it around the room and smashed it down onto the floor with a loud bang. Mary burst into tears. Her beloved nutcracker was broken. But Herr Drosselmeyer knew just how to fix the nutcracker. He tied a scarf around the nutcracker's head like a bandage and handed him back to Mary, who cradled him in her arms. Then Herr Drosselmeyer's nephew gave Mary a tiny bed that was a perfect size for Nutcracker, and Mary nestled him in it to rest. The party was coming to a close, and everyone joined it for one last grand dance. When the music ended, the guests bundled up and made their way out into the frosty night air. Mary waved goodbye to her dear godfather and his handsome nephew. It had been a long evening, and it was time for bed. During the night, Mary awoke. Remember that the Nutcracker was alone downstairs in his bed. She ran down to scoop him up. With the Nutcracker safely in her arms, she curled up on the sofa and drifted back to sleep in the soft glow of the Christmas tree. She hadn't been asleep for long when her Drosselmeyer slipped back into the house to properly mend the Nutcracker. He gently slid him out of Mary's arms, repaid him under the light of the moon, and disappeared into the darkness. But then the strange things began to happen. At the stroke of midnight, Mary was pulled from her sleep by the clock chimes. She rubbed her eyes in surprise. Great big mice appeared from the shadows and began to scurry across the room. With a rumble and a shake, the cheese began to grow before her eyes. The light was flashing brightly as it rose higher and higher, and Mary had never seen anything so big. Then Frida's toy soldiers sprang to life. They marched into the battle. The mice. The mice were led by the fierce and the terrible Mouse King, who wore a shiny crown on his head. Then the Nutcracker himself came to life, growing until he was the size of Mary. His bed, now huge, spun around and around. The Nutcracker leaped out of the bed to lead the battle against the mice. The Mouse King towered over the Nutcracker, taunting him, when a quick-thinking Mary threw her slipper and it landed on the king's head. He turned to look away, and the Nutcracker toppled him over. The Nutcracker triumphantly claimed the Mouse King's crown in victory. In that very moment, the ancient spell that had been cast on the Nutcracker was broken. He transformed into a handsome prince who looked very much like her Drosselmeyer's nephew. The prince gallantly placed the crown on top of Mary's head and led her by the hand into the starry night, beyond her house and deep into the forest towards the Christmas star. Snow began to fall, and the glistening flakes began to dance. Okay, we stop here. We stop this book here, and I'll see you in the next video for the rest of the book. See you. Have a good night, babies, kids, children.